Hello everyone, habari zenu, como esta, ohoro wanyu, guten tag, konnichiwa, and all the other greetings. It is Kenyan Hippie back with a new video. If you are visiting my channel for the very first time or you just came across my video for the first time, hi, I hope you will stick around, learn something, and possibly subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much, Asanteni, for all the support. I decided to do a video to this because it's a long comment. Someone left a comment under one of my videos, and I figured I would make a video responding to this because I have spoken about the trans community. I've spoken about pride. You can find all those videos linked somewhere here. And so I thought this would be an interesting take and just do somewhat of a blind response to this. Let's go. So this person's name is Dodo. I'll just put the comment here somewhere so you can see. They say, hello, can I ask you, what opinion do you have on the fact? So I'm going to stop right there because this is not a fact unless it's based on very specific research and quantitative research. Is not a fact, it's an opinion. That most trans people are really happy with their transition and don't regret it. So let me tackle that part first. I would not say most trans people are happy with their transition. Based just on what has been happening, if you watch channels like Back Angel, Blair White, Andrew Gold, and many others, you will see that the number of detransitioners has gone way up. It has increased 1,000-fold from the fake 1% idea we've been hearing about. It's way above that. It's actually, I think it's about 20% now, people regretting their transitions. And a part of this, two reasons for this. One is the fact that gender dysphoria was reclassified as part of the DSM-4. Therefore, it is not treated as a mental illness, but an identity. That was a very slippery slope, and we are reaping the rewards, or rather, the consequences now. Two, those people going through this are not really trans people. They're just people in a weird identity crisis, and they are coping by making all these changes to their bodies, chemical changes and physical changes. And that's not really fixing the issue because we still have suicide rates, we still have people on antidepressants. Therefore, eventually they realize they're not dealing with the trauma that caused this to begin with. So they're trying to revert back to what they were pre-treatment. So that's why I disagree that most, I would not use the word most, I would say some. There are very few trans individuals. I know a bunch of trans people personally. The lower percentage of them are happy with their changes. The higher percentage of them have had medical complications, surgical complications, and they realized, you know what, I'm still traumatized. I'm not dealing with what's going on in here by changing what is on the outside.
My name is Chloe Cole, and I'm a detransitioner. Another way to put that would be, I used to believe that I was born in the wrong body, and the adults in my life whom I trusted affirmed my belief, and this caused me lifelong, irreversible harm. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring the scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through.
So I'm detransitioning, and I think that it's only fair to talk to you guys about it. As you know, I have based my platform for the past couple of years on sharing pretty much every aspect of my transition, so it's only fair that I include you guys in this process and in my thought process. To be completely honest with you guys, my mental health has not been in the greatest place. So yeah, let's get into it.
Again, this declassification that happened in 2021 really messed things up. So the comment continues, personally, I know a lot of trans people around me and I'm non-binary myself. And I met only 3 detransitioners. That's a lot of people you've met personally who've detransitioned. 3 detransitioners in a personal space is a lot. 2 of them identify as gender fluid or non-binary now. Sometimes I have this feeling that people on the right are fear-mongered to hate people as a whole group, and that sparks further polarization, of course. Now, I'm gonna address that before I continue. So like I said, knowing three detransitioners personally should tell you that's a higher percentage than we know, because a lot of people don't know trans people personally, they just hear stories. I implore you to go and watch again Andrew Gold, Barkangel, and Blair White. They have interviewed bunches and bunches. I'm talking over 50 to 100 people are being interviewed on these channels, across these channels and other channels, by the way. That's just the main ones I know of, talking about the detransitioning process and the pressure from the LGBTQ plus community, and the pressure when they are being misdiagnosed because they have OCD or they have autism or they are somewhere on the spectrum and it's misdiagnosed as some kind of gender dysphoria and it's not, or refusing to deal with the trauma. And honestly, there's this thing of people on the right. So I'm going to give you a disclaimer in case you didn't notice or see. I have not always been conservative and I don't call myself on the right. I am a conservative, yes, but I am socially liberal. So I don't care about people getting married when they are gay. They can do whatever they want because that's a personal decision as long as it doesn't affect me. My issue comes in a few areas. One is, again, refusing to acknowledge the fact that gender dysphoria is a mental disease. It is very much a mental disease. And only those transitioning, and there's transgender and transsexual. Barkangel is a transsexual. The transgenders are a whole other thing. I've covered them in multiple videos. It stems from pride and it stems from needing to be validated. If you don't need me to validate you, then we are good. But if you need to shove it down my throat and force me to call you a certain pronoun, we have a problem, because your choices should not have to affect my life. I should not have to cater to your identity and how you see yourself, because I see you a certain way. Someone like Lily Tino is not really transgender. He's just a guy who masquerades as a woman and gets a lot of clout. I made a video about him right here. There are too many disingenuous individuals in that space, whether you are left or right.
Thank you. Can you call me sir? I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir.
What?
Call me sir.
Oh. That's
Just like, it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
I haven't thought of myself as an influencer in a really long time, but I did just get bangs today, and maybe ask me tomorrow when I have to style them myself, but couldn't recommend.
I will say, though, that the social contagion that has become the transgender movement is very much targeting kids who are going through puberty, who are in a very awkward phase in their life, and I feel and I believe it is taking advantage of them in that state.
Some context if you don't know, I lived as a trans woman from ages 19 to 26, and I recently detransitioned about 6 months ago, and I'm going to talk about why that happened and kind of what the fuck is wrong with me that I did that. So growing up, everyone always told me I was gay. The first time that happened, I was in first grade, and it got progressively worse my whole life. And then when I was in high school, this was around, so I graduated in 2016 to give you a kind of rough estimate of the time frame. At the same time that like Orange is the New Black was on, Laverne Cox was becoming popular, Caitlyn Jenner transitioned, like this was like considered kind of like there was a boom around trans awareness. It was not a secret to everyone around me that I was the squeaky wheel, like kind of in all situations. Like I was just a weird kid. I didn't fit in. It didn't make sense. I didn't make sense to everyone. So whenever people became more and more aware of transness, like people started to kind of suggest it to me, like, hey, like, do you think you might be trans? Or I had one friend in high school who was like, I know that you're gonna transition. My aunt said that she thought that I was gonna transition. It was weird. So it was like suggested to me a bunch of times. And then in like a moment of desperation, I was like getting out of a psych ward when I was 19. I thought maybe that like unfillable pit in my stomach is because I'm supposed to be a woman.
Parents who are being forced to acknowledge their children's delusions, because a parent's job is not to validate you, it's to guide you. But most of these parents are being put in a position where, oh, do you want a dead child or a trans child? How many parents have lost their kids even after they transitioned? I urge you to look deeper into this and not look at it at the surface level, because that's not going to do any justice. It is very much a social contagion. There's a reason why this whole thing blew up right after COVID. People were in lockdown, they were bored, social media took over. A lot of these kids who are detransitioning again got their ideas one or two places. One was the internet, especially TikTok, social media, or their friends, peer pressure. Oh, my friend is trans, so I think I'm trans. It's a social contagion and it's a design. Look into it. I don't want you going down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, but everything is tied together. And the other aspect of this that I disagree with largely, I do not agree with trans activism, is that outside of targeting teenagers or young adults, this movement is very much homophobic, because why are you telling an effeminate boy or a boyish girl, a tomboy girl, that she's in the wrong body and that because she likes male presenting things, she's supposed to be a male? Or that if this effeminate boy prefers to be feminine in feminine spaces, no, he's not gay, he's a woman. Do you see where this is going? I have a lot of issues with it. For an adult who has done the work, has gone to therapy, has acknowledged that, yes, I do have a mental issue, but this is the only way I can cope with my gender dysphoria, and I won't need anyone to validate me because this is who I am, and accepts that there are risks involved, most of which are non-reversible, I have all the respect for them.
Okay, try to keep up. I am a 47-year-old biological man. I am been on hormones for a year, a little over a year. I just had my boobs done. I've had one facial surgery. I am not going to have bottom surgery. I'm going to do one more face surgery on the bottom of my chin. I am transitioning to look as much like a female as I can. That's the way I've wanted to be my whole life. I understand that I cannot ever be a biological female. For those of you people that cannot define what a female is, realize that you're part of the problem, okay? A female is someone who was born a female with X chromosomes and can have babies and can give birth and so on and so forth. For the idiots out there that say that some men can have babies because they're trans men, well, that's because they're a biological woman. So let's stop all the nonsense and stop all the bull.
Again, I've talked about this in several videos. So the comment continues, I think I'm going to watch your videos because you seem as a kind person that could even open to debate. Thank you. I love debating with people of different opinions than mine is, but they are oftentimes annoyed by me because they automatically see me as some leftist troll based on identities, which is sad because they are keeping themselves in echo chambers, and that's exactly what they hate about the left. Yes, I agree with you. A lot of people cannot deal with differing viewpoints. They cannot deal with civil discourse. They have to live in an echo chamber, and I've spoken against this for a very long time. On my channel, I am very open to debate. I'm very open to discussions. Unfortunately, in my experience, just like you, I cannot have someone sit down and have a conversation with me. It's always name calling and attacks and insults and anger. There's no space for civil discourse. I am trying to have civil discourse, but it's impossible. It's basically impossible. So I appreciate you having an attitude of, can we just stop? I would implore you to not hold identity in your sexuality. I'm very much against that. So, like I said, I have a bunch of conservative friends who are gay. I don't know if you've met gay conservatives. There are a bunch of them. And even Charlie Kirk talked about this in one of his videos. Someone introduced himself as a gay conservative, and he said, you don't have to do that. Why are you leading with gay? That is not your identity. That's just a part of who you are.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to ask you, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like, because
that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Thank you.
Right? Why do you need to say it? No one cares. Like, no one cares. At the end of the day, you are who you are, but what has that got to do with the conversation we're having? What is the relevance of your sexuality in your identity, right? I am very much against racial pride. I'm against pride in general, but racial pride, sexual pride, because why? Just say, I'm a man, which we can see, and I'm a conservative. You have to lead with, this is what I am, these are my preferences, this is who I sleep with. And that's telling me you need validation. You need to push that aspect of yourself ahead. And that's what's really causing this rift between, if you will, the left and the right, is because, again, the liberals of the 90s are now the libertarians. I'm going to get a little bit into politics now. And the current Democrats or current liberals are very radicalized. So, again, it was, oh, we just want equality. But they don't really want equality. They want privilege, you know? Oh, we want to be able to get married. Now they're getting married, but then now it's like, oh no, now you have to accept I'm a woman. No, I won't. I'm sorry, but I will not. Whether you pass or not, I will not call you a woman. And if you shove a pronoun down my throat, I will not honor it, because now you're forcing me and interfering with my freedom. If your right interferes with someone else's right, it's no longer a right, it's a privilege. So that's my take on this. And I mean, I could get into all this, but again, thank you for being willing to have a conversation. While in reality, I identify firstly as an ideological skeptic that happens to have very progressive views and some views associated with the left. So I don't know if you've seen my story. I'm going to, again, link it here, and I will tag you so that you know I made a video. I just figured I would make a video because this is a lot to be trying to respond. There are so many different aspects to this. I don't know how you want to do this. I would love to have a conversation with you. Maybe just, I guess, ask me stuff and I can respond, or I can try to figure out how to do some kind of a call with you. We'll figure out the details. But yes, I'm very open to a discussion with you. Maybe we can go live sometime and we can just talk about this. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. I, again, used to be a flaming liberal. I realized I was not that liberal after all, you know? It's like a come to Jesus moment. I grew up in a very strict community, very strict family, church, and I'm an immigrant. So my viewpoint on things is very different. Came to the States, and with time, the first person who was in the entire trans space for me was Bruce Jenner, as you know. And watching that interview on ABC broke my heart, because I knew, deep down, I knew this is not normal, but it's almost like it's not his fault either. Something is going on there. For a man to decide to wake up one day and I'm a woman and I hate being a man and everything that is associated with being a man, there's something that's going on there mentally. But now the refusal to accept that is why we are here now. Wanting nothing to do with the body you were given and the body God gave you, and thinking you can just change your gender because you're chopping things off and taking chemicals and hormones, cross-sex hormones, is not it. And especially when it's targeting younger people who honestly, the prefrontal cortex is not done developing until you're 25. So there's a very vulnerable crowd that is being targeted by these trans activists, and that really gets on my nerve. And it's why people like Angel, again, I know I keep mentioning him, but he's really amazing. And I say he because, again, he's not delusional. He knows he's a female who has, again, presents as a man. And I have a lot of respect for people like those. Same as Blair White. Blair White knows she's a dude, but she's like, this is how I feel. I know there's some kind of trauma that happened to me as a child. It's got to be, because this is not normal. This is how I present, so please respect that. And I'm like, I'm cool. We can do that, you know? And then you have the extremes like Lily Tino and Dylan Mulvaney, who are just wearing womanhood as a costume and mocking me and forcing me to call myself cis, which don't tell me to call myself cis. We have a problem when you do that. Again, if you people have to make accommodations for your delusions and you're forcing your identity on others and making them question their own sanity and what they're looking at because you decided this is how I want to present myself, then we have a problem. But if you want to live your life You don't care if I call you sir or ma'am because it doesn't matter to you because you know who you are. We're doing really well. As long as you stay away from kids, we're doing really well. And that's what I'm saying. The progressive nature of my thoughts definitely changed with time as I started to see things for what they were, as I became a mother, as I interacted with people on both sides of the platform, if you will. And even someone as liberal as Baki, and Joe Baki is now more conservative than ever. He still calls himself an independent, but I think he's coming to the right side. And there is a reason for that because there's almost more common sense on the right side. I'm not saying they are perfect because there are some people over there that I'm just like, stay away from me, y'all. But again, I am open to have a conversation with you no matter what side you're on, as long as you're willing to have civil discourse. So again, I don't know how you want to do this. I would suggest going live maybe sometime. I don't know what platform that would happen on, but let me know if you have any questions. Again, I will tag you when I post this video so we can talk. But there's a lot to tackle here. I hope to talk to you soon anyways. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you will like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all in the next one. Kenyan Hippie out.